Down here, now that we have a license appearing, it's easy to test one of the product features, which is the pause button. Uh, in the previous video, we explained how clicking pause or unpause will basically set the validation system to treat all license keys associated with this product as being invalid, and so all validation would fail. Well, I wanted to show that changing this validation option doesn't in fact change the enabled option here. So let me show you how that works. As you can see, I clicked a pause and refreshed the screen, and is enabled is still there. So all your key settings are still intact even though you pause and unpause the key. You also have the ability, when you're looking at your keys in this list, to organize them. So let's say you wanted to show all the keys that had a particular machine ID or seller ID. You could take the key and drag it up here and then group all the keys in your system by the seller ID, and so that helps to quickly find your keys in the case you want to group them by a particular value on the key. Well, as I mentioned before, if you're running in trial mode, all keys, whether they state that they're a trial or not, will be treated as trial keys. So let's take a look at, I'm going to double click on this key. To open a key, you can either double click on the row the key is on or hit edit key. But I double clicked to open this screen, so let's take a look at that. I opened up the key, and now I'm going to hit test validation to see what would result in an attempt to validate during trial mode for this key I've created. Okay, the screen comes up and it says that the validation will fail, and the reason being, and if you go down the list, says the key exists, 2, the key is enabled, key will not expire, key has not been validated prior, product is not paused. So far so good. The server does not have sufficient product space in its license packs, validation will fail. So right away you see that because we're running in trial mode, validation will fail. The server is telling you that if you go production mode on this and you try to validate, it will fail. The 6b says this server does not have sufficient license keys, so it knows that you're missing both license keys and products. You don't have any right now because you're running in trial mode. And number 7 specifies that the trial mode is currently enabled on this service. So that explains what would happen if you tried to validate. Well, let's go ahead and hit OK. And after I hit OK, you'll notice that well, let's go ahead and hit OK again, close, refresh the screen, and you'll notice that I did a test on validation, and I'm going to go back into the client and hit validation attempts, and it didn't affect the validation attempts. So you can run as many tests on validation as you like without actually affecting your product's ability to validate. So it didn't have any impact on the validation system. So that's a way to test validation without affecting the validation system. So it's a neat tool there. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Well, I think we've pretty much covered all the options. If you need to enable and disable keys, just remember you can do that either by pausing the product or by going into an individual key and enabling and disabling it there. And the two are independent. That concludes this video. In the next video, we're going to be looking at how to use the client DLLs, both for validation and for your integration needs within your organization. So thanks for watching this video, And if you have any questions, please contact sales@spearmantech.com. Thanks a lot. Have a great one.